Hello everybody, this is Adam from Wheel Guns for Wheelmen, and I'm very excited to share with you today my Christmas present from my wife and my uncle. They pitched in and got me this Springfield Emissary. It is a 9mm 1911 pistol. It is, of course, clear because I'm in my media room. Now, this gun is super sweet. I'm not a 1911 fanboy. Indeed, I've only owned one 1911 prior to this, and it was a 10mm, which served its purpose as a bear gun until I replaced it with a semi-auto with twice the capacity. The main gripe I have about the 1911 platform is it's somewhat difficult to take apart when you have the bushing and stuff. Even this one's a little tricky compared to a Glock or something. And the other issue is obviously the magazine capacity. However, I wanted a 1911, so I said, give me a 1911 if you want to give me a present that's a gun. And I said, give me whatever 1911 you want, and here are some examples. And this is the one my wife picked out because she thought it looked cool, and indeed it does. It has like this kind of frag grenade style grip texture. It has this kind of, these cuts on the slide that make it look kind of hexagonal. It has a bull barrel, no bushing. I like bushingless design, so I was pleased by that. But no, everything about this gun, including the sights, has the U-notch that Springfield's known for, and like the green dot. It's kind of like the Springfield Hellcat for the sight picture. But it's super nice, smooth. Comes with 2 magazines. Of course, 9mm 1911s and 1911s in general are known for being a little finicky, so you might be thinking, how's the reliability? Well, I got it at Christmas time, and I've taken it out twice. Took it out right when I got it, and then I took it out just earlier today for the New Year's Carnival held by the Magic Valley Practical Shooting Association. So we did a little carnival with some kind of mini USPSA style stages, plus some other random things like shooting target at 40 yards and seeing who can get closest to the bullseye. Well, let me tell you, out of about 20 people, I placed second. Only one person came closer, and a lot of the people who came, who were worse than me, they were using red dots. This is just a 1911 that I just got, so obviously the trigger's pretty good and the sights are adequate. I'll post me doing the plate rack stage as a short, so if you want to watch this in action, plus if you want to watch like the second or third mag I ran through it, I also filmed that from the day I first took it out. So I'll have 2 shorts of me shooting it posted shortly, no pun intended. Now, the grip texturing, super aggressive. It's like the most aggressive grip texturing I've ever experienced, and I like it. Actually, at first I was kind of taken aback by it, but it's very solid. What else can I say? Sights are adequate, obviously. You can watch the shorts and you'll see that the ejection's really weak because this thing, like most 1911s, especially ones that are higher end, it's kind of finely tuned, so there's not much recoil because it's sprung right so that the rounds are just kind of dribbling out, which if you get any gunk in there, I guess that could cause a malfunction and not cycle fully. But I have put 95 rounds through this, and I've had 0 malfunctions. I didn't clean it before I took it to the range and ran the first 40 rounds through it. And the other 50 or so rounds I ran through it today. I had taken it apart, cleaned it, and lubed it, and I think it was ejecting a little bit more powerfully. So some of the weak ejection from the first video may have been just I didn't clean and oil it before taking it out. I wanted to see how it would perform without cleaning and oiling it. Now, the only 2 things left to really discuss about this gun, because we've gone over the sights, we've gone over the aesthetics, we've gone over the grip texture. How's the trigger? Because obviously for 1911, what people care about, for the most part, is the trigger, because that's what makes them so good. You carry them cocked and locked, and you switch off that safety, and you have a nice, really light trigger normally. So, we got the Wheeler trigger scale gauge. Let us Alright, so that one is 5 pounds. Do it again. I will say it did feel a little heavier than I expected, having fired many different 1911s I borrowed from people and such. Okay, that one's a little heavier, but I think I kind of messed it up. It was closer to like 5.8 pounds. But that could just be me not using this thing really well. 5.5 pounds. Do a fourth one for good measure. And another one that's about 5-ish pounds, 5.5. So between 5 and 5.5 pounds. So not a super light trigger by any means, but it's a very crisp trigger. Show it to you. Have a good grip on it. So it's just that much take up than a wall. About 4 pounds of pressure, I would say. Then it breaks. And then it's just that. So standard 1911 style trigger. Decent. Definitely not bad. Definitely not a Taurus or something like that. I'm guessing it's better than a T-Sauce too, even though those have been getting a lot of traction for being a good budget option, which I'm sure they are if a gun works. Even if it doesn't have a great trigger or great grips or whatever, if it works and it's like $350, it's a pretty good gun in my opinion. I'm not a snob, but if I'm gonna get something cool looking and nice, you know, especially if it's like something just to have, because I have no use for this, right? Like I'm not gonna be carrying this, not a nightstand gun. Could be, has a rail, you can put a light on it, do a lot of things, but this is just a toy to take to USPSA matches and stuff if I feel like it. And a barbecue gun. Just wear it around at a barbecue on your hip, grill some burgers, show off the kind of shiny mirror finish. There you go, right there, yeah. The last thing I wanted to discuss, I don't want this video on too long, but I do want to mention, to take this apart, because bushingless, you got to, in order to take the guide rod out and get the barrel out for cleaning, there's a little hole up in here. It's like right there, and it comes with a little tool. It's like a mini Allen wrench, but it like you really gotta kind of jam it in there, and it's easier in my opinion to make a slightly smaller tool just out of a paper clip, which is what I've done, because the one they use, feels like you're gonna like scratch and mar up like the guide rod for no reason, which doesn't matter, no one's gonna see it, but still, why try to shove something in there that's a little bit too big to get in easily when you can just make your own? And then you just ride the slide slowly down, then this clamps the spring, holds this in place, and then you can let go of it. So yeah, the little tool they have, it's nice that they send a tool, so if you don't have one of these and you need to take this apart at the range or something, it comes in the bag. But personally, I prefer to make my own little tool. And in case you didn't see the bag, it does come with a little zipper soft case. So, so far my initial impressions of this are very favorable. I am a huge fan, and I would highly recommend this to anyone who wants just a cool 1911 or 1911 for, you know, USPSA matches or something like that. But even just as a range toy, it's really nice. Also looks cool aesthetically. So again, if you just want a barbecue gun, this is what you can use to show off and have something cool to show to your friends. Anyways, please like and subscribe and check out the shorts. They should be posted around the same time as this video, maybe a few minutes later.